Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Yes, it has been a while, but I'm back in the saddle, this time in the new American Premium Rank 5 Battle Rating 7.0 medium tank, the Combat Engineer Vehicle M728, and that is, to give you the TLDR, the American take on the British Centurion Mk.5 AVRE. It's the same gun, it's the same shell, same overall performance, and that is not bad. This is to give you my short opinion on it before we come to the objective part. It's not really a good grinder because it's only a rank 5 premium, and because of the long reload, the horrific shell trajectory, ballistics, slow muzzle velocity if you will, and that just leaves you very often vulnerable where a much weaker vehicle would go through the situation. And also your mobility, while not bad, is not excellent. However, if you're looking on the fun aspect and you always were liking the idea of the Mark 5 or the Centurion Mk.5 AVRE, but you were not really into the British tech tree, then surely go for it. And especially I can imagine this being the absolute hero in a squad where you are just fighting through the streets with a couple of friends, and you can bridge the reload, or there is another one that then can lure out the enemy and you just shoot 2 shells at them and watch the gigantic explosions. That will be fun, and in that aspect, yes, I can recommend it. So the thing is, I have a lot of fails at the end where you can see that while this is almost guaranteed a one-shot, it's not always guaranteed a one-shot if you hit it, but there's also one scene where I miss an enemy, but the splash is enough to overpressure it, and that is hilarious to watch. So let's start with the business end of the gun. And by the way, first of all, the looks of this tank from the front. You have this gigantic, is it an IR searchlight or something? It's enormous, and then you have this really thick but hilariously short stubby barrel. The tank looks wrong. That's all that I'm going to say. And also you have then the metal skeleton over the back of your turret. That is basically the crane, because at the end of the day, this is a combat engineer vehicle. At the end of the day, that's where you also have the dozer blade. So you have the 165mm M135 cannon, 30 rounds of ammunition, and your reload is 21.3 seconds. Gun depression -10, plus 20. Turret rotation speed is 20 degrees per second. And yeah, you do not have a stabilizer, and one big problem comes with the shell, because while it has a enormous TNT equivalent bursting charge of 22.9 kilograms, this is roughly somewhere of 11-inch shells. You know, when it comes to the TNT, it's enormous. It's not quite, 14-inch HE shells of battleships, but it's really big. It's naval firepower grade ammunition, and it has 203mm of penetration, or 8 inches of penetration against all angles at any distance, and that is quite hilarious when you hit something. And while this is a HESH shell, it also has obviously the TNT blast effect, so as I said, you can miss something and the splash still takes it out. In that aspect, it's a little bit of like a miniature Sturmtiger. But there is, when we compare this to the Sturmtiger, another thing that is quite different. Not just does it have a turret, which is great, but also you have the problem of the trajectory. 259 meters per second is really slow. And also that means you have a very noticeable ballistic arc, even at relatively short distances in a city fight. And you don't have a stabilizer, and you have a rangefinder, but that rangefinder is not very accurate. It gives you 100-meter intervals, not like a laser rangefinder, and you still have to scroll quite a bit. So you have to prepare for a shot before you come around the corner with adjusting to the right distance. And the rangefinder that you have is, as I said, inaccurate. It doesn't automatically align with the distance, and it takes a while to get the distance. So you have to learn the vehicle. You have to learn the ballistics. You have to learn to look at the minimap and look at the grid squares and what kind of distances there are to guesstimate the distance, and then you can have much better success. So in that aspect, yeah, when you hit something, it usually does, except if it's Russian and you just hit the wrong pixel. I think that this tank is really fun, but there are some other aspects that are not so great. So let's talk about the mobility. 48 kilometers per hour top speed. In reverse it's less, it's only 8 kilometers per hour, and that's painful. If you're stuck in a position, you take a shot, you miss, or there are multiple enemies, then you just can't get out there quick enough, and despite having neutral steering, you just can't turn around and run away as fast. And the very next, before we talk about in depth about the mobility, is you don't have forward-facing smoke launchers. You only have an engine smoke system, and that's sadly not good enough. So you have 750 horsepower for a 53.2 ton tank. That's also not really fast. But again, in a city fight, when you are doing a concerted push with other vehicles, then it's okay. It's not a T95 mouse or a tortoise. Talking about the tortoise, when I killed that one, you just saw the massive damage effect. This is not a small HESH round. This is a gigantic HESH round, and it does a lot of damage. It just completely fills out all the crew compartment, and that's really awesome when you get those rare opponents, and you just can splash them, just like the Tiger hitting the tip of the top of the turret. Tip of the top of the turret. Well, that sounds cool. And you just let it explode violently. It's awesome. It's fun. It's cool. Yeah. So when this tank works, it's great. When it doesn't, I don't really have a feel of, oh damn it, now I was let down by the tank. No, I just have the feel with this tank, I personally, that you know, that's just the nature of the tank, and when they get kills like that, they just make up for it. However, you have to accept that you get team killed all the time. Not team killed, revenge killed all the time. You get revenge killed all the time. And people know that you have this long reload, so they're really pushing you, and that obviously is a big problem. One of the advantages of this combat engineer vehicle is that you can also repair other stuff that is not in your squad. So the big problem is when you lose crew, like as you can see here, with 2 crew in the turret or in the tank, the reload is extreme, and I highly recommend that you look for a cap to get back 3 crew members, or back to 3 crew members. Again, the revenge killing is real. But what I also like is the derp effect. When you get kills like this, I tell you, it never gets old. But then there's also that. Oh, just a split second too soon. I get the kill assist, and around the corner there is that guy, and then you get smooth one-shots like that, or like this. But the long reloads and my bad luck lately, yeah. When you get flanked by a Tiger 2 and teased with the machine gun. But the last bit is this IS-6. He was turbo biased. Watch the last few hits. And that's it from me today. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.